Next on the news, Bishop Robert Brennan highlights the amazing students, teachers, and schools of the Diocese of Brooklyn in the latest episode of his podcast, Big City Catholics. This as a Catholic high school senior gets a top honor. New York's finest are in Rome, members of the NYPD taking part in Jubilee celebrations. The next National Eucharistic Revival is a lot sooner than you think. We give you a sneak peek of the 2029 plans. Plus, before it was Central Park, it was Seneca Village. The iconic New York landmark was once home to the first free Black community in the city. A Black History Month lesson coming up. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. Bishop Robert Brennan is shining a light on Catholic school excellence. The shepherd of the Diocese of Brooklyn invited Assistant Director of Enrollment Management, Katie Kevill, onto his podcast to talk about how academies are thriving in Brooklyn and Queens.
We see the love that they have for the children who are entrusted to their care. And in that spirit of love, they provide a top-notch education.
They do. We actually, this is hitting the national news within the week, our test scores outscored everyone in the city and the state. Wow. And nationally, Catholic schools test higher than everyone.
You can listen to the full conversation on Bishop Brennan's podcast, Big City Catholics, at podcast.dioceseofbrooklyn.org or search for Big City Catholics on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The latest honor bestowed upon a St. Francis Prep senior is a big one for the Queens Catholic High School. He was in the running for the Regeneron Science Talent Search, a competition many have called the Junior Nobel Prize. And not only that, he was the only Catholic student in the city to do so. Currents News' Katie Vasquez tells us more from Fresh Meadows.
Science has always been Juan Valenciana's favorite subject.
I enjoy doing this and just finding something new, something that's never been done before.
The senior transferred to St. Francis Prep from a public school for a higher quality education.
It lacked a lot of opportunities, and I came to St. Francis Prep because of all the opportunities.
One of those opportunities included applying for the Regeneron Science Talent Search, the country's longest running and most distinguished STEM competition for high school seniors.
Really known as the Junior Nobel Prize.
The Queen's student picked Alzheimer's research for his project, spending more than a year studying data sets and submitting his findings.
Amyloid beta is the hallmark for Alzheimer's disease, and that's one of the things that I looked into. He currently lives in El Paso.
For him, this assignment wasn't random.
To improve his condition.
Juan's paternal grandfather, Alberto, suffers from the disease.
When I first started talking to him, it was like normal family topics. And then the next day, he's talking about the exact same topics. Like, it's almost like he's not forming any new memories. The most important finding.
Setting Juan on a path to study Alzheimer's.
I wanted to develop some solutions to maybe help him eventually one day.
The St. Francis Prep senior didn't make it to the final round, but he still beat out 2,500 students from across the U.S.
This year, we are the only Catholic school in all of New York City to have one. The only school in all of Queens, including public, to have one of these prestigious scholars.
As shown in Figure 2.
Now he wants to continue his research, hoping one day there will eventually be a cure.
It really decreases the quality of life for both people that have Alzheimer's and people that have to take care of people that have Alzheimer's. They're caretakers.
Juan will graduate this year. He hopes to study biomedical or mechanical engineering at his top choice school, Georgia Tech. In Fresh Meadows, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Good luck to Juan. Turning now to Rome, where thousands of armed forces, military and security personnel celebrated the Jubilee year with Pope Francis.
Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
And among those blessed by the Holy Father in St. Peter's Square were New York's finest. Members of the NYPD's Holy Name Society traveled to the Holy City, where they took part in the Mass, took some tours of famous Roman churches, and even visited the Vatican's Swiss Guard, which gave them a beautiful plaque. Dozens of young people have been in Rome for a meeting about peace. The Israeli, Palestinian, and American students gathering together as a response to the continued need for dialogue following the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Currents News' Jenna McDermott tells us more.
In this room are dozens of people whose lives changed after October 7, 2023.
I have many friends that have been killed. My house was hit by a rocket and destroyed. And my whole business that my family worked for years was burned to the ground.
I have little friends I met during my years, and I have prayed for them to stay alive. And I know now they're still suffering from all of the politician that is happening. But what I see in their eyes and the stories, and when I talk to them, is something I never felt, that it is hope.
These 33 Israeli, Palestinian, and American students are participating in the interreligious meeting, organized by the Scolas Foundation in Rome. The gathering is meant to be a response to the need for dialogue, mutual understanding, and awareness following that October 7th attack.
En la época en que el padre Jorge Bergoglio y yo éramos jóvenes.
At the time when Father Jorge Bergoglio and I were young, it was said at the Sunday table before starting to eat, "Watch out. Here you can't talk about politics, soccer, or religion. Thank you, because you dared to talk about politics, soccer, and religion."
This meeting was the conclusion of a full week of shared testimonies, which were also sent to the Pope. At the general audience, they handed the Holy Father a letter, further proof that dialogue is possible despite different points of view. As President Trump announced his proposed plans to take over the Gaza Strip, the young people look ahead with hope that peace will prevail.
I had a dream, and we have a dream. We have a dream to build Gaza again. We have a dream of two-state solution. We have a dream of equality rights in the Israel for the Arab Palestinian who lives there.
Jenna McDermott, Currents News.
Over the weekend, the president doubled down on those plans for the U.S. to redevelop Gaza.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site.
President Trump went on to tell the reporters on Air Force One he watched as the hostages were released and likened them to Holocaust survivors. Also over the weekend, U.S. bishops applauded a Trump executive order that looks to prohibit biological men from competing in women's sports. The bishops highlighted the importance of equal treatment of both genders, but also the need to treat transgender people with kindness and respect. For continuing coverage of the Trump administration and the president's recent executive orders, just head online to thetablet.org. The next National Eucharistic Congress will be sooner than anticipated. The CEO of the event has announced they've begun preparations for the 11th Congress, which will take place in 2029. When the nation gathered together in Indianapolis for the 10th National Congress last year, organizers had tentatively announced the next event would be in 2033, which marks 2,000 years since Jesus' crucifixion. There's still no word where the 2029 event will take place. Finally tonight, in honor of Black History Month, we show you an unknown part of American and New York history that is hidden inside one of its most iconic landmarks.
About some of these churches that essentially were here, the white lines that are on top of this image are the lines of the paths.
While this may look like a tour of Central Park, the conservatory there is actually teaching guests about Seneca Village. It existed before the landmark from 1825 to 1857 and was home to the largest community of free African-American property owners in pre-Civil War New York. The tour highlights the lives of its residents and the contributions they made to the abolition movement. The exhibit is only temporary right now, so to get your tickets, just go to centralparknyc.org and search for Seneca Village Tour. It's open until October 2025, so be sure to see it while you can. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.